Well, that is the remains of the lemon beauty. Look at the size of those clematis stems. The thing was a monster. And this is where he lives, on this trellis. And then up and over. And it's been doing a great job of covering that. I mean, to the point where you can hardly even walk through here. Except for this year. It flowered, of course, but it was just a lot of brown. So it's time to trim it back. So we already got a little bit of new growth coming out at the bottom. And he has all summer to come back from being chopped down. It's brutal, but that's what you got to do every now and then. Yeah, so there's a few azaleas, hosta, sambuca, mixed perennials in there in the shade garden. This is a beautiful tree. Love it. We had it someplace else that didn't like it. And here's what it is. It's a katsura. Beautiful smelling leaves in the autumn. They turn a nice ambery color and red, and it smells like cinnamon. Chocolate, not cinnamon. That's a climbing hydrangea on that old elm. Hate that elm. What can you do? Yeah, some of the stuff here is looking pretty rough. There's hydrangeas in there. They were some of the ones that didn't know if they should leaf out or not this spring, and that one is like half and half. I have one behind it that didn't leaf out at all. It's a 10-year-old hydrangea, and it's like, nope, no thanks. Didn't want to play this year. And they've got some mardigan lilies. I didn't plant that. That just kind of grew there. That's going to flower. That's the other side of the shade garden. A lot of hostas in there. Different kinds. Brunera. Rogersia here with the big spikes coming. That looks really great, especially with this ambery foliage of this physocarpus. Got a few things that aren't looking so hot, like this cypress. The internal sections are showing because this is slowed down on its growth, so it's not covering where it should because the entire, I don't know what's going on. It doesn't know either. Hopefully it sorts itself out. This bush is not happy. It's been happy for years, and then all of a sudden this winter it just took a big crap and decided to just die off. This is the Kojonomai that I had highlighted this spring. Said it was grafted, and it was just a little ball on top of this little stake. I mean, it was tiny, a little bit bigger than a hand. Now look, it's what? Pretty big. So when it's covered with those little umbels, pretty. Big white birch. This is the leaving the shade garden. Weigela or Weigela. a lot of names is kind of funny. Hukara. Yeah. There's another sambuca back there, getting quite tall. Yeah. Looking back towards the house, there's a dead tree in the foreground. Not in the foreground, mid-ground. It's a maple, a campestre. It's the complete upper portion just died off. It put out leaves, and then they all just shriveled up and said no thanks. And we're not playing. The tips of this conifer up here you see that are brown. the mice, because the snow was on those branches over winter, the mice just sat there and ate whatever was in the snow that they could walk on, like a platform, and they just devoured the ends of all the growth. So this is looking pretty scruffy. A lot less blue and a lot less brown and a lot more brown. Yeah. And hostas. I don't think these are bites from slugs or anything. I think that's just wind damage from branches and whatnot blowing up against. Oh, this one's monstrous. Got some more Lilium Martagon lilies, Claude Shride. It's a beautiful burgundy color. Just about ready to pop open. Roses over there. Some more peonies. These ones also took a hit from the wind, and they didn't have a ring. So a lot of them ended up just flopped over. Yeah. Oh, hello, little bird. That's up towards the driveway. I've never done this before, so I hope I'm not moving too fast. Take your Dramamine, which is a seasickness medication. Martin Frobisher, a very hardy rose. It's got a lot of soft light larvae damage. Not as bad as this one over here to the right of it, which I don't like that rose. It was here when we got here, and it always used to get the damage, and none of the other roses did. So I was like, okay, I'll leave it there and let the soft light larvae eat that, and then they'll stay. No, they saw all the other smorgasbord of options and decided they would try those too. So now they're trying everything. I hate those things. I hate pests. Got a lot of irises. These are ones that I've divided several times. Nibelungen, a German iris. They're all shriveled up now because these were blooming yesterday. There's some fresh ones over here. Yeah, these are pretty, aren't they? I had a huge clump of this, and these are all divisions, parts of the divisions that I've already done. I don't know how many times I've divided that original one. Got our peonies in here, the little babies, and some bigger ones. Look what the soft light larvae do to leaves of roses. God, isn't that sad? And I am pretty vigilant. Oh, there's one right now. Where'd he go? There's two. There's two right here. And there's another one down there. Oh, horrible. Look, they're everywhere. Can't. I just usually brush them off and let the ants hopefully eat them if they are down there doing their jobs. No beneficial pests. And no real hard rains. We haven't had any real hard rain. That's also a problem. Part of my hose system there. Okay, so here's the gem garden. Hello. This little, well, she's not so little, blackbird. She doesn't mind me working out here. She usually is only about 2 or 3 feet away digging for worms when I'm out here working. Got some delphiniums, some Hawaiian pink coral peonies. This little bed just got some new additions. Pekka and I went to Turku yesterday and bought some new plants to add in here because it was looking pretty empty. It's just mulch. I mean, when you're in this video, it just looks like there's a couple specks of green and then a sea of mulch. And yeah, we don't want that. So we have some new additions. Gilenia, which we saw at the open garden day, trifoliatum, or I think I'm saying that right. Anyway, beautiful. It makes a big bush. I've got 3 of those set in here. There's a rose, Valentine heart. Love that. And we have 2 of these phylacterum. And they get real tall. So real 120 maybe tall with little pink and purple flowers just smothering over the tops. We have some new astrantia. I think that's pretty cool. Oh boy, having a hard time focusing in. So I have 5 of those. 3 in this group. And yeah, what Dictominus. Alright, you'll have to look it up. Albus. These are white ones. Here, or I guess it's called the moose plant. So there's 3 of those. There's one over here. So this area, they get 60 to 90 centimeters tall. So that'll actually be quite a large thing. Right now it doesn't look like much. But this will be filled with green and white, beautiful white flowers. We got a modern blush rose. It's weird. Some roses get the soft larvae, and a rose right next door, really not much of anything. So it's hit or miss. More of those iris. Yeah, when you have a lot of something, might as well use it. Here's the damage from the winter of them. The voles, they devoured this conifer. It's alive, but oh my God, poor thing. It's trying its best to survive. And here's the back of the... So this starts being the shady side of the gem garden. And you can see by the size of the growth on that side versus about right here and over, it's the shadier side. Everything's like stunted, smaller, same stuff. It's the same plants. They're just a lot smaller. It'll be a lot longer before they catch up. And then over here, just about right here on this edge, they start getting back into the sunshine more through the day. So they get more daylight hours of sun. These pretty ones called Ginger Twist. I just think that's so cool. So I have a bunch of different irises. Some are similar in color, like that one. Let me zoom in a little bit. I can go inside there better. Some pure white columbine, which are just white on the inside. Yeah. These painted daisies. I have pink, and then I have a darker color. Oh, look at these. Aren't those pretty? Just, oh, velvet. That's so nice. Doreen. I think this is Doreen Cambry. Yeah, I know my plants. Doreen Cambry. And some geraniums. They've gone over, and now I'm going to have to trim those back and see if I can't get a rebloom. So I'll trim these off and hope for a rebloom. And stuff that hasn't yet happened, because I have it set up in this garden with early, mid, and late blooming stuff. So there's always something happening. Let's go back in here. So I got a clematis, whatever you want to say. This is the Rouge Cardinal, so it's not flowering yet. Well, soon. Got flower buds. Yeah, that iris. Let's see if I can get in there. It's not red. This is kind of showing up red on my screen, but it's more of a deep russet. Ginger twist, but just more of a russet. These are just a natural occurring wildflower, a little thing for the birds or insects or whatever to get a drink. I don't know how they're getting drinks without. We put in a new bird bath too, just to give them something to drink. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. There's more of the painted daisies, but the darker color. And then the peony Hawaiian pink coral again. Starts out real corally like the left side and then ends up kind of pale on the right. Yeah, he's pretty. Iris. I think they're so pretty. I don't know when I started really liking iris, but they sure are nice. There we are at the lovely back of the house. That's where our decking came away from the snow. Snow was on the roof so thick that when it finally started to slide down off the roof, it crashed onto the deck top and just pressed up against the railings till they just leapt off and ended up smashing everything here. And luckily didn't do too much damage. They're actually quite heavy, those railings. So 2 of them came off. That was a hell of a lot of, or a heck of a lot of weight. Surprisingly, nothing got broken. Anyway, so that all needs to be redone. Here's evidence of the painting. Where we didn't go. And wow, you can see who painted what. I'm pretty heavy on the paint. And I painted up to the window, the lower window sash there, the window trim. And I only painted about 3 feet up on that front side. Anywho, manure, cooking in the sun, but right now not cooking so much because it's shady. Here's our frankenpear. It's one pear tree with several pears grafted. So you end up with all different kinds of pears. I know that on this side, some of these are Russian pears. They're a little smaller and wow, really, really sweet. Yummy. And I tried to trim, well, I trimmed it all down. These water spouts are all new from growth this spring so far. Those will all end up being cut off. I try to keep it really small so that we'll be able to keep getting the fruit without having to have a ladder. This is the worst sawfly damage. This one, oh gosh, I was already in here and knocked them all off. And look, there's 2 more right there. Oh my word, I hate these things. There's an ant, but you're a little late, buddy. You have to. This one's not looking great. And then this one. Oh, ouch. Horrible of horribles. So there's our weird little water fountain that we fashioned. It's an old drain pipe that we found here 10 years ago, and we've had it all this time, just sitting around, that concrete thing on the bottom. And then, of course, the rocks, I don't know where that came from, but anyway, this brass thing, we bought at some Kirpus, which is like a secondhand retail outlet type of thing where you can find almost anything in Finland. And I've had that for at least 7 years, and I didn't know what to do with it. Well, it sits perfectly well on top of this weird drain thing, and it's sturdy. That is not going anywhere. Something really large could jump up in there, and it wouldn't knock it down. Some heuchera, pick your name. Weird conifers and other things happening. Bisocarpus, conifers. A bed that over here to the left that hasn't had any attention. Needs some weeding. This thing, oh, it's got new growth, but it did not like it. Did not like the winter. It started slow, and then those needles turned brown like within days. But look, it's alive. I don't know what to expect with this weird thing, but it should survive here. We don't know what's happened. It's tragic. Oh, these peonies are Henry Boxtos. It's really compact, tightly. Look at the petal. I mean, this thing is firm. And it has really great fragrance. Paul Wild. So that's late. Roses. They've already been blooming for a while now, those roses. Hazelnut. Some more peonies coming up here. Marshmallow Puff and Princess Margaret. Marshmallow Puff is looking different than it has in recent times. It used to look a little bit more puffy. But anyway, I fertilized them, all the peonies this year for the first time. And I don't know, I think it's making a little bit of difference. This one is just like a really shocking pink cerise color. Wow, it's shocking pink. Very nice blooms, sorry. This is a smoke bush. Ooh, look at this coolio spider. Hello, spider. What's up? Now these are fine. Cornus alba elegantissima. And it's a cornus. And what I done with these, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have been coppicing them, which is a technique that basically means trimming them down all the way either to the ground or to the main stem. And the reason I started doing it is because they've got so monstrous, they will fill this entire space and you can't even walk in here. Well, I needed to be able to get in here for several purposes. And anyway, so I cut them down early in the spring. And then through the summer, they get big again. And I don't miss out on the little flower that it makes. And they'll end up being just fine. By July, they'll be a lot larger. So another month from now, they'll be quite large. This one was